Podcasting from the Chicagoland area, this is Game On with Jackson Stuart, where we discuss men's lifestyle, focusing on sex, fitness, relationships, business, and more. We'll be interviewing the best of the best, the hot shots, and the rising stars in the worlds of modeling, fitness, cooking, and more. Influencers who are discussing keeping it sexy while at the top of their game. I'm your host, Jackson Stuart. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the game.
This is Risque, and you're listening to Game On with Jackson Stuart.
Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. The game will never see a greater player than one who knows themselves and claims all titles thrown at them as their own. Or some may call out rebel, nonconformist, or plain old different. There are players that take these titles and make them badges of honor. Such is the case with our guest this evening. Madison Fox is a UK glamour model, streamer, and OnlyFans creator. She is a self-proclaimed Barbie doll and bimbo, and claims back the term bimbo while creating a body-positive empowerment from it. Having been in the industry just under 2 years, there's a lot more to be seen from Madison. So keep your eyes open for this player and tonight's guest. Yeah, later on, just because of you and the accent, I'm just going to say, Madison, can you just read a phone book page to me? And that'll just... all right.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone, you've heard the introduction. Now join me in welcoming to the show the brilliant, the beautiful Madison Fox. Madison, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. Really good.
And I always tell the guests, I always tell the audience, they should hear, the pre-show talk, because we have, it's always a lot of fun, that pre-show talk.
Yeah.
Let's start off by, can you tell the audience what platform you're on the most and by what username?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram the most, and my handle is Maddison Fox __. My old account previous to this one did get deleted by Instagram, so that's my current one.
I just like I say Fox, and it sounds just brutal, right? Just a dead tree hitting the ground, and you say Fox, and it's I feel like I have to pay for this call. I love it. Very,
I'm glad you like
yeah,
it.
no, very, very, very proper, but yet sexy accent. Madison, where are you from? Are you originally, London born or whereabouts?
I've always lived in the UK, born here. I have English parents, unfortunately, which is really boring. But a lot of people think I look quite Russian, which is the strange thing. I get a lot of people, when I go to London, coming up to me talking Russian. So, no, unfortunately, I'm boring old English. Yeah. Nothing more to say there, really.
So how does a boring little English girl, I know I'm using your words because I don't think you're boring. I don't want to.
No, go.
I don't want a bunch of hate from the audience when this airs. How does a boring English girl go from, growing up in a normal English environment to becoming, an influencer, a model, and etc.?
Yeah, so I would say my story is probably quite different to a lot of people. I actually have only really sort of come into the industry, the sex industry, since March 2020. So I sort of cut a really long story short, but I got out of a relationship of 6 years about 2.5 years ago. And then I unfortunately had to move back in with my mum to save money, to buy a house of my own. The UK house prices are just astronomical. Yeah, so I had a really normal job. I worked in technology. I was a project manager for like networking, IT solutions projects for large companies. And basically when the pandemic hit, my company just decided to fire me 3 days before. Here in the UK, we had a thing called furlough, and furlough enabled companies to sort of let people go, but on 80% of their salary, propped up by the government. And unfortunately, my company that I worked for previously they were shit. And they decided to axe us without any sort of backup or help from the government. So lucky for me, I had been camming on the side for about 6 weeks before that. So I bought my own house in December 2019, and I realized that after all my bills, everything went out at the end of every month, I had about £100 left over. And this is with my old job, and I just felt completely trapped. I felt that there's a glass ceiling in terms of where I worked, and that I hated my job. I'll be really honest. I used to go into the office every day and I just hated it. I hated going in. I hated I'm just not a corporate person, right? I'm not a yes person. I don't just do something because somebody says. Unfortunately, I'm too much of an individual. And yeah, so every day I'd go into the office and I'd just like look out the window longingly, thinking of any which way that I could earn money. And really randomly, I saw an advert on Instagram in like late December 2019, early January 2020, and it advertised for webcam modeling. And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I was like, oh, I don't really know about that. I mean, you hear things in like the newspapers over here in the UK, when they put, oh, webcam model earns 150 grand a year, and you're kind of like, yeah, right, sort of thing. So I didn't really have any expectations. And then after I got my house and I moved in and I got a bed, got a mattress, got furniture and got internet, I decided to like log on to this website. And it's like a UK webcam site. And I had no idea about what it was, never had training. And this woman by WhatsApp, like just barely explained what I needed to do. And I logged on for like 2 hours onto this webcam platform, and I had customers coming in, and then I logged off after about 2 hours, and I had accrued about £350 in about 2 hours. And I was like, oh shit, like you really can make money from this. Because I sort of logged on expecting to like make £5. Like I had no expectation. And yeah, so after that I kind of did it really ad hoc through sort of February 2020 through to the beginning of March. And I set up an OnlyFans as well. And then I started to like use my personal Instagram as a platform for like my images and stuff, which with hindsight was quite naive because I should have created a whole new account. So therefore people that I knew, that I worked with, became aware that I had an OnlyFans, and basically that was just the nail in the coffin. They were gunning for me anyway, and they wanted to get rid of people because of Corona, so I was just on that list to be axed. And so I got axed, and I didn't know, I still didn't know whether I could, whether this was something that I could like make into a full-time job. Because I didn't know the industry. I didn't know anybody in it. I didn't know whether I could make consistent money. And basically here in the UK, we have a thing called babe channels. I don't know whether you've ever heard of it, Jackson, but we have a channel called Babe Station, Studio 66, and Expanded, which is on like national television where people can tune in to watch girls posing and like take phone calls. And basically a babe channel headhunted me in the February, and they were like, hey, do you want to come work for us? And I was like, oh, I'm not quite sure about that. And then basically the day that I got made redundant on March 18th, I just called them up and I was like, hey, like, can I come work for you? I'll do any shift, any day, any hour, doesn't matter. Give me everything you've got and I'll work it. And basically it worked out really well for me, and it's been completely life-changing. And I don't come from a family of money, quite the opposite. So I'm not used to having money. I'm not used to, the kind of money that I'm earning, I just never thought was obtainable to me, and obtainable to me as a woman, as well. So it's been pretty life-changing, and it's enabled me as well to become the person that I always dreamt of. And it's made me become much more of a spiritual person as well, because I really believe that there were certain things that cropped up and that were aligned for me, and it's all for a reason. I don't know why, but it's just worked out really well for me, and I'm so grateful. If I could kiss the floor, I would. And I'm very much aware that my life could be so different. I mean, if I hadn't had those opportunities in front of me, I would have lost my house, lost all my savings, lost my car, and I'd probably be working in, a local shop for £8 an hour, when now I make that in a minute and a half sometimes. So like, it's crazy how things work out, and I'm so, so grateful.
So for those, for those who have been listening, I did some research, and a pound in English money is like $1.36 in U.S. money. So
yeah.
So people who are listening going, all right, so carry the one. Nope, I did the math for you guys. That's how it is. Something you said I wanted to touch on, because man, it's an amazing story. And, I found that with a lot of influencers, there's a lot of commonalities, where things fall into place. They're not afraid to jump on the new opportunities. But something that I wanted to ask you about, because I have experience in the tech field, and I've noticed, and I've got to make sure I word this right to not offend the tech people or women, but there's very few women in the tech field. The ratio between men and women is horribly off. It's a lot more of a male industry. And, there's various reasons, I think, just with, as far as schooling and stuff, and where schools are gearing their focus. Little girls aren't normally computer people, and I think that's changing. Totally. And dear God, that's so much for the better, because equality and everything. But did you find that there was, and obviously you're an attractive woman, did you find issues as an attractive female, or just as a female in general, in the tech industry? And even before you went into the modeling.
I feel, I do. I think I've always been a very technical person. I'm really into my technology. Back at school and college, I studied film and television production. So I always wanted to work in what is really a male-dominated field, and that doesn't intimidate me. But in my role that I had for the technology company, I would manage a team of engineers and all of them were male. And to be fair, I'd have them wrapped around my little finger, but also, and that comes with a little bit of respect. But there was one particular occasion when we were in a meeting, and it was a meeting with all the engineers, all the director, and so on. And I remember I asked something in particular, and they kind of, inferred that, you don't get it because you're not an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but, just because I'm not an engineer doesn't mean that I'm unable to understand. If you explained it to me, I have a technical mind as well. And I made it very clear as well that I would be up for learning and training to become an engineer, because telecoms engineers here in the UK, they earn a lot of money, these guys, the IT solutions guys, they're on big money. And I wouldn't put that past myself. And, I really made a stance to say that I would be up for training as an engineer. But I still don't think people take you seriously enough. And especially because, you're still, I was still a young 26, 27-year-old girl with blonde hair and fake tits. And, as much as I can try and put over to them that I can do it, there's still going to be the sort of macho-ness and, sort of talking you down because you are a woman. So yeah, I agree. And I think you're totally right, Jackson, when you say about how schools, put their focus. I think my experience as a young girl in the UK, when I was at school, leaving school, people were like, what are you going to study? Are you going to become a hairdresser or like a beautician? And there's nothing wrong with that. But I was like, no, actually, I want to become a director, a documentary filmmaker. I want to work on live TV. I want to be a producer. And people are like, oh, and surprised because it goes against the status quo. Because of how society is. So it's sad. And I think, women, we need to do much more, not just for women, but everybody, to be less judgmental and be more open to different people doing different jobs than what would be sort of socially assumed, if you will.
No, I couldn't agree more. And I remember I had a friend who, she did work in the video game industry at the time, and she told me a story about, she was sitting in a room full of programmers, and I think she was like human resources, and no, I'm sorry, she was PR, and she was going on about about PR aspects of promoting the game, and the rest of the room were focused on like the bouncing boob physics of the main character of the game. And I'm like, even if that was part of my assignment as a programmer, I'd be like, can we talk about this when she's not here? This is not a comfortable conversation. and she, much like you, she mentioned about just there's this assumption because of her gender, that just some things she just didn't get. I mean, she's easily one of the brightest people I've ever met, and it's sad, and I think it's getting better. I hope it's getting better.
Yeah.
Now, with all that having been said, we've got Madison Fox out here making 9 trillion pounds a second when she logs on. That's a beautiful thing.
Sorry, I keep getting interrupted. My phone.
No, that's fine.
Keeps getting wrong. I'm sorry.
No, so we've got you making. I said you're making 9 trillion pounds a minute.
I wish.
When you're logging in, what challenges are you facing in the industry that you're in now? Because I mean, every job, even a dream job, has challenges. What do you run into? Let's say your top 3 challenges.
Top 3 challenges. That's such a good question. And just before I answer the question, I think what we do is glorified a lot, and it's made to sound so amazing. But money is one thing, but also this job requires you to be what, to all intents and purposes, without being a bit too frank, you know, an actress. And the top three negatives of the job and challenges: number one, my personal life, in the sense of relationships romantically, is almost impossible. The second one would be the isolation. So I don't really, you know, I'm always working on my own. It's very, very lonely. And the third one would be the fact, and this is a really long one, but the fact that we are our own business and we are the product, which means, you know, I'm treated like an inanimate object, really, you know, by customers to consume, to use, and then discard. And it's really hard. It's really, really hard job, and it's not spoken about enough in the industry. And I'm really passionate about it because I think a lot of it can be glamorized, and younger girls, 19, 18, 19, 20, are seeing women of my age, 29, and seeing me, yeah, I make good money and I have a really nice car and blah, blah, blah. But also, it weighs on me a lot mentally. It's extremely mentally draining. Because, you know, a lot of the time, this job requires you inadvertently to get people to fall in love with you, to spend money. And it's not because I want them to, but it's just inadvertently they do. They end up really, really liking you, and then basically being in love with you, being infatuated with you. And, you know, as much as I can be genuine and be myself, I'm also providing a service. I'm also saying what you want to hear because you're paying me. And I'm also playing up to the sexual stimulation and tease and things. And that's really hard. It's really hard because I say things for money on the phone that I would never ever say or want to say otherwise, you know, and it's honestly, it's just so hard. And the expectation of certain customers that they want to meet you, you know, they want to meet you, and it's like, look, honey, it's never going to happen. Yeah. I'm sorry. And this is the really hard thing, Jackson, because the more frank you are, you know, and we're not frank enough in this industry because people are scared of like what customers will do, and in the sense of like stop paying or stop contributing or any of these things. But, you know, I enjoy what I do. You know, I wouldn't do it otherwise. I'm very grateful. And I'm grateful every time somebody signs up to my OnlyFans. Any little donation. But also, I am a human being. I am a real person. And I recently created my stage name, which is Madison Fox. And it was only recently that I changed it. And before then, I was using my personal name. And it got to the point for me that for my own mental sanity, I had to take back that. I had to take it back because there was like a time recently when I was working on TV, and I don't know how explicit I can be on here.
Oh, you can be as explicit as you want.
Yeah, and this one particular caller, like, you know, so the phone calls are very odd, you know, that you get sometimes, and people are in the moment or whatever. And this one particular guy, when he's like ejaculating, grim, as grim as that sounds, he like repetitively would say my name. So like, he would be my personal name. So he'd be like, not my stage name,
Right.
but for example, he'd be like Madison, 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 and like be saying that over and over again. But it was my personal name. And I was like, you know, I almost had PTSD from it because I had like flashbacks to it. I was like, oh God, and it made me cringe and like my skin crawl. Because I was like, oh man, I don't want that in my head, you know. And I have quite thick skin, and I'm very easygoing, and I let things fly a lot of the time, and I don't hold or harbor a lot of you know, negativity. I try not to. But that one particular moment just made me be like, Christ, I need to claim back my name, my personal name, because I need to have that just for me and just for people that I want to call me that, you know. The product is Madison Fox. The person that I am is only for me and for people that I want to know the real me. And unfortunately, there is a difference. I say unfortunately, but it's because I feel guilty. Because I feel every time a guy says like, hey, can I meet you? Like, oh, I'd love to go for a coffee, you know, and meet up and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, look, hun, as much as I'd love to do that, sorry, just got interrupted.
That's okay.
But basically, as much as I'd love, you know, as much as I want to be able to give you what you want, I cannot do that. And I feel it's really unfair sometimes when customers get to that point that they're like, they want to meet you, and then you're like, I can't say yes because it's not going to happen. If I say yes, morally and ethically, it's going against what I believe in, and I have to be able to draw the line. Like, it's strictly online only, and you as a man, if you're going to a woman online and you're like looking at her pictures and stuff, you know, of course we'd love to meet, you know, our idols or people that we get infatuated with, but I think you always have to step back as the consumer and think like, you know, I need to hold myself back here, you know, it's a fantasy, and I'm really sorry, but I can't give everybody everything all of the time. I would have nothing left.
You know, I think that was a brilliant, eye-opening answer. And, you know, a couple points that jumped out that I wanted to go back over is that one thing about doing an interview show and talking to influencers and, you know, models and, you know, actors and actresses and so on, it always comes down to so many of the same commonalities, like so many of the same circumstances. And I said that earlier, but one of them is, and this is why I really enjoy doing this show, is that there's a glamorization. Yeah, I think that's the right word. If not, I just made it up.
For sure.
There's a glamorization of what all of you do, you know, and it's like every time I talk to someone, what I always hear is just the exhausting amount of work that it goes into the isolation, you know. And what comes to mind, he's an amazing mixologist and bartender, and you know, we were just talking about his you know, just kind of stuff that he does. And I mean, the poor guy, it's like by the time he leaves one job, he's got like an hour of sleep or 2 hours, and he's getting up to post pictures and, you know, kind of like tend to his flock, so to speak, or his followers, and get to the gym. And then, you know, we've had cam models on before, and they just talk about, it's just that, like, they realize the job has objectification at the core of it. Yeah. But it's like, even in a job that has objectification as the core, it can still go too far.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, you're so right, because this is the part of the sex industry,
Right.
which I hate saying. I think it's a really outdated term. But the problem is, you start to give so much of yourself over.
Right.
You don't even know what is a genuine or real reaction, or who you are anymore. And the most exhausting thing is the fact that me as a person, I'm literally giving my energy to other people all day, every day.
Right.
And it's being expelled. But not only that, it's being expelled to people that I would otherwise not have any interest in. And unfortunately, that is as frank as it comes. But I have to be honest, because that is what it is. It's a service. And I'm sorry, honey, but unless you were paying with it, you wouldn't ever hear from me. We would never cross paths.
Right.
And, you know, I have to be like that, because, you know, then me objectifying myself, it's then hard for me to then sustain a normal relationship in my personal life, because then you get rejected by people that you do want to spend time with, that you do want to get to know, that you do want to have like relations with sexually or romantically. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, I can't get a break, because it's just the craziness of men. And that is what it is. You know, if I was a lesbian, it would probably be totally different. But like the way that men are, you know, so sexually driven in every capacity. You can make a man do anything if you wanted them to through sex. I'm sorry, but it's true. It's so true. A good-looking woman.
I'm just picturing like all the stupid things a young Jackson Stuart has done because sex was sex was the currency, or was, you know,
another cool.
What was involved.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, sure, I'll walk through that alley of fire full of glass and zombies because sex is at the end of it. I'll do it.
Sorry, say that again, because my headphones just
interrupted. That's okay. I was just thinking, like, sure, I'll walk through that alley of fire and zombies and broken glass because sex is on the other end of it. I'll do it. Why not? And one other point that I really, well, 2 points before I wanted to add on to that, and because I was talking to another guest, and we were talking about the negative impact of pornography on relationships, and I just
totally,
and I mentioned the point that it's only dangerous when people are unable to separate fantasy from reality.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, the cute barista that you finally get the balls to ask out is not going to be like, you know, the barista in the porn flick you just watched, because she's not going to blow you in the back while she's making lattes. Like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think I think real men are able to split the difference. I think immature men, who I tend to call boys, blur the lines.
Yeah.
And I see it, you know, and you see it at like a strip club where, you know, a guy, like a stripper may like you. You may be one of her favorites because, you know, you're polite and you're not trying to like, you know, attack her in the back room. But
absolutely,
like, you can't expect her to give you her phone number. I mean, sometimes that happens. I mean, but nor do you own her. And that same goes in like OnlyFans models and content creators and cam models.
Yeah. You
don't own these people. And I've been in some cam rooms, and guys come in there just shooting wild and saying crazy shit as soon as they log in. It's like, you know, still imagine you were sitting across from this person, even if she's naked and has a vibrator going.
For sure.
Like, just don't walk in there and just start barking orders at her what to do. And the last thing, the last point I wanted to make about something that you said that was so powerful about having dual identities in a sense is it kind of reminds me
Yeah.
of, and this is going to sound crazy, but bear with me. Like when Clark Kent realized he was Superman.
Yes.
And there's a
Yeah.
discussion about why is Superman Clark Kent? And it's because if he was Superman all day long, he would have nothing for himself.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
And so I've
Yeah.
just called you Superman. So that's and
I'll take that any day. 100% I'll be Superman.
but I think that, you know, that, and I think that comes with realizing that influencers, whether it be models or anybody in the industry, they're still people. They still get up, they still brush their teeth, they still, and that they you know, you get worn out doing that. But that your answers were so eye-opening, and I hope people listening really do take a beat and think, well, I never thought about that. Or, you know, and I think it's a reflex for people to go, well, that's the industry she picked. If she doesn't like it, it's like, that's not,
absolutely,
you know,
yeah.
it's like, and this might not be the right occupation to equate it to, but cops and firefighters don't want to get shot or burn up. Teachers, you know, teachers don't want to have a horrible day. They still do the job. So you can't yell at people for choosing the job, but people are still due respect.
Yeah, totally.
And so I mean, yeah, that's, I mean, I can already tell that I want to I want to have you back like 9 more times because it's such a great conversation. What?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was just gonna say definitely the whole, you know, ability for people to access porn for free has clearly impacted how people, you know, behave and culture and society. I probably came across quite blunt before, and I don't mean to, you know, I don't look at those guys and have any negativity towards them because they want to meet me. I have a lot of understanding and care, and, you know, I totally understand why they do. I mean, I would be the same if I had like Brad Pitt on the line that I was talking to every day. You know, I'd want to meet him, and I'd want to, you know, you run away with the fantasy. And that's not to say that the conversations I have with these people aren't of some value to my life. You know, I must enjoy talking to them to an extent to keep doing it, to keep doing the job. And I take something from that. I love getting to know people. I have a fascination with understanding people psychologically as well as myself. And, you know, it's not all customers. It's a few that just get run away with the idea. There's a lot of amazing customers who they go above and beyond just to be nice to you, and they don't even expect anything from it. And that's the crazy thing, because they're so selfless and they have so much love to give, and I'm so appreciative of them. And then the irony is, like in my personal life, when I try and go on a date or get to know people off Tinder or whatever it be, you know, you get treated worse than for free than you do when you get paid. It's just crazy, you know, the difference in behavior through being treated as myself and being treated as Madison Fox.
Is that your favorite part of the business when you know, those great customers, or is your favorite part the is it the you know, the autonomy of like you are your business and where it goes is up to you? Which of those two would be your favorite part, or is it a tie?
I would say the best thing about it is being appreciated for you, because it is for me, you know, it is the way I look, but also the reason I do well is because of the person that I am and how I treat people with respect and care for people, albeit over the internet. But also, yeah, massively, and probably mainly the fact that I have autonomy over my life. You know, I'm a single independent woman. I earn good money all because of myself. no one else. I don't wake up and have £1,000 sat on my doorstep. No. It's all about hard work, determination, planning and execution, and, you know, becoming a better person as well. And, you know, examining yourself. What could I do better? How can I be better as a person? How can I, you know, all of these things. So it is mainly about having autonomy over my life and not having to ask my boss if I can take next week off. I pick and choose my hours. I work as much or as little as I want. And it's all because of me, for me, to make myself richer instead of shareholders or a boss in a bloody suit.
Or a bunch of dick engineers who don't want to teach you anything.
For sure, exactly. You know.
Now we spoke earlier, and I wanted to just real quick go into this term, the term bimbo, and we were talking about how you know it's when I was coming up, bimbo was an insult. You know, now I'm seeing it pop up more. You know, I'm hearing it more used by models as another term for their classification than, you know, that I'm hearing guys use it. Can you explain to people what is a bimbo and why are you comfortable with the title and so on?
Yeah, so bimbo to me is it's really a movement, and it's a brand new fetish, really. It's all about how you want to look. And personally, I totally agree with you. I think 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the term bimbo would have been a total insult and on the level of slut and slut shaming. And I think it's entwined with the fact of society inequality and the fact that women want to be powerful, but we also want to be powerful with our femininity and our sexuality. And I really think we've claimed it back. We've taken it back for ourselves. You know, it's all right for me to call myself a bimbo, but, you know, it's a movement. And a lot of the time it relates to the XL implants community, and the dollification, bimbofication, and just the way you want to look. And the look it's hyper femininity is what it is. It's, you know, long luscious hair, it's small waist, large bum, you know, slim, massive, big boobs. And, you know, culturally as well, it's already ingrained in culture that people want to look like that. I think the industry and women are just kind of claiming it back and using it as more of an empowerment and like a USP, a unique selling point to how they market themselves as well.
It almost reminds me of a like a fertility guide archetype. You know, there's very large breasts, very small waist, very large hips. You know, just very accented parts of the female body. Guys listening,
exactly.
Guys, I'm gonna tell you this though: you let her call herself a bimbo. If you see a woman, you're like, hey, she matches the stereotype. Hey, bimbo, that's a bad move, guys. That's a bad move.
I wouldn't yell it at anybody down the street for sure, unless you want a handbag around the face.
And I don't care how much. Guys, you hear, well, if she says she can call herself that, why can't I? Guys, don't be a dumbass.
Just don't
do it. I know some guys are out there like, well, bimbo, they said it's okay. No, dumbass, don't do it. Yeah.
Totally. It's kind of like maybe how the fuck boy term will be maybe in 10 years. Maybe guys will claim that back.
Do you know somebody had to explain to me what a fuck boy was? Because when I kid you not, when I heard fuck boy, I thought, is it a guy that you know, women want to fuck a lot?
Is that a UK term? Is it not really used internationally?
It's used internationally. It's just sometimes I'm not that bright.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm not the brightest bulb in the box, and I'm like, what is a? And I'm I'm like, is a fuckboy, is that just the guy you want to fuck? They said, no, Jack, a fuckboy is, and they explained it. I'm like, oh.
I just Googled, have you got Urban Dictionary? I just
Oh,
Googled
yeah,
it.
I love Urban Dictionary.
The definition, a boy who plays with girls' feelings
Yes.
and doesn't really like them and would do say anything a girl wants to hear to have sex with them or to get something they want.
Yeah, and I think the way it was explained to me was just a guy that is going to talk a lot but never do anything. You know,
for sure.
And I'll never forget, I saw a model who, she had on a t-shirt and it said, no fuck boys. And I'm like, but wouldn't you want a fuck boy? And then somebody had to explain, no, Jack, a fuck boy. And I was like, oh, okay, fuck boy's no good. What's next for Madison Fox? What do you have going on?
What's next for me? Probably just growing the OnlyFans. I want to do way more on OnlyFans. I've mainly been, for the last 2 years, I've mainly been very like cam focused. But I definitely know that I can grow the OnlyFans for sure, and hopefully try and avoid my Instagram getting deleted again. But yeah, just to work on that really, and maybe more surgery, who knows, I don't know, maybe next year. But yeah, we'll just see how it goes.
In keeping with the theme of sexiness, what is the sexiest thing about you?
Sexiest thing about me? Oh god.
This question literally confuses every guest.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because, you know, these are people who are sexy people. I mean, you're obviously a sexy woman, and then, you know, I think people think sexy people or people who are labeled as sexy automatically can just roll out boom, boom, boom answers. And, you know.
Yeah, sexiest thing about me, probably my ability to be so easygoing, and just, I'm very open-minded, and no judgment. You know, I'll try anything once, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, just probably just being genuine. And I would say, you know, sexiest thing about me, yeah, okay, looks, but I mean, I think sexuality runs deeper than just visual. A lot of it is to do with how it makes somebody feel and how you touch them, like not physically, but it can be. But in the sense of like how you tease, how you stimulate somebody mentally. And I heard a quote the other day and it said, anybody can fuck you, but not everybody can fuck your mind. And it's so true. Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting that t-shirt made. On the back it's going to say no fuck boys. What makes a man sexy?
Emotional intelligence and availability.
Okay.
Just a guy that knows how to talk to a woman, and that means being chivalrous, but also you can be super dirty. Like if you're chivalrous and respectful, you can win any girl over, and you can be as, you know, dirty and sexual as you want. I think you just got to have that level of respect and, you know, understanding, and yeah, just how to really get into a woman, because I think, you know, men are very visual, but women sexually are very in tune with our feelings. So we're stimulated by much, much more than just, you know, a guy with an erect penis. It's all about, you know, how you talk to us, how you make us feel, how you can mind fuck us. Again, going back to that, it's just all about mental stimulation.
Yeah, I've always said men have sex to feel good. Women have to feel good to have sex.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Well,
so true.
Took you a while to figure that out.
Yeah, well, at least you have. Well, most guys haven't.
Yeah,
there's something
to be said for experience.
Totally.
It is now time for the quick game where we like to give our guests a chance to run through some entertaining questions. Madison, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, here we go. LA, Chicago, or New York?
Oh my god. Do you know what? I've never been to America.
Really?
But
Oh.
I would, yeah, never. But from what I've seen, I would love to come to New York in winter at Christmas.
No, that is spoken like somebody who's never been to any of those states.
Yeah, exactly.
Chicago or New York during winter, because you will quickly, even if you have to swim back, you will get the hell out of there, because winter is brutal in Chicago and New York.
Oh wow, really?
Oh yeah, you have an experience. Over here, we'll get what's called a polar vortex.
Oh really?
And that's literally where they warn you, don't come out of your house if you don't have to, because it's so.
No way.
Yes, because if you're not properly layered, the frost will just hurt your skin in a matter of seconds.
I need to be there for that. That sounds fun.
You will regret every second and that you experience that. Do you have any tattoos?
No, I don't have any tattoos. No, I'm a fresh canvas, but I might do in future. I'm not sure.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at trivia?
Oh God, probably 0.
Do you speak any other languages?
Fuckboy language, does that count? No,
Russian.
No,
everybody,
I
when you
don't.
see her, walk up and speak Russian to her.
No, I can't, I'm afraid. I used to be really good at Spanish back in school, but I've literally forgotten all of it. So no, unfortunately.
Fuckboy language. I want to know what does that sound like. Does it just sound like,
very complex.
Yeah, just a whole bunch of, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Is that what fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you dance?
If I'm drunk, yes. I would not say I'm a dancer, which actually I'm really gutted about. I wish I was, but I just don't have natural rhythm.
How old were you when you got your first kiss?
I was 14.
Okay. It was a fuck boy. He was no good after that.
No. It was just a boy at school, I think. It was very innocent, very simplistic. I mean, it wasn't anything special, but I don't think we expect that. But yeah, no, pretty okay, I guess.
If you have a first kiss with somebody and it's really amazing, you're not their first kiss.
Yeah, for sure. There you go. Then you've got to start asking questions aged 14. But no, it wasn't. It was very innocent.
Guilty pleasure on Netflix.
Oh, guilty pleasure on Netflix. Rocco Silfredi, the bloody thingy, his show on there. I don't know whether you guys have seen it.
No.
But it's very interesting.
Okay.
If you're interested in pornography and I'm assuming most guys listening to this have heard of Rocco, but it's fascinating, really interesting about the porn world, how it gets shot. Really, really interesting.
Do you Instagram your food?
No, because it would probably just consist of chicken nuggets and soup, probably. Not at the same time, but yeah.
You're like a child.
Not much to Instagram over here, Jackson, I'm afraid.
You're like, I got my nuggies and I got like a juice box.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But if you were to, I bet you guys would pay to watch you eat your chicken nuggies and drink a juice box.
Well, maybe I'll put that on the OF, really, because I have a particular fetish about dipping my chicken nuggets into chocolate milkshake. And my chips, actually, as well. That is an interesting fact about me.
My Madison Fox sex level just dropped a couple notches, because that would gross me out so much.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that,
Yeah.
but I can't deny
I mean, hey,
the
you know,
love that I have.
you gotta do what you gotta do. You and
Exactly.
I gotta admit though, I used to. I had a friend in college once who turned me on to ranch dressing and French fries, and I thought that was nasty until I ate it.
Ew!
No,
What
wait,
the
what?
hell?
Really? You're over there dipping nuggets in
Yeah, I
a
know,
chocolate
I can't really
shake? That's
tell.
horrible. Do you believe in fate?
Yes, I do. I really do.
What's your favorite?
Yeah, fate.
What's your favorite candy?
Favorite candy. I'm not really into like sweets, but I'm into chocolate, and things like that. So I really love white chocolate, like Milky Bar. Do you have that in America? I don't know.
No, we have white chocolate, but I don't. I've never heard of that bar. Everything about you is amazing, but you and I differ horribly on our taste in food. Yeah,
That's good. That's good. It means that you're not gonna dip in for a nugget. I'm happy with that.
we would have to go to 3 different places to have dinner together because
Absolutely fine.
you'd be it wouldn't work, Madison. It wouldn't work. Last question, and this is a question that I look forward to the answer from everybody who's on the show. Who inspires you?
Oh wow, who inspires me? This is a good question. Probably 2 people that come to mind. So Allegra Cole, which is a well-known like XL implant model,
Mm-hmm.
she definitely does. Like that woman, you can just tell has a beautiful soul, and she clearly looks very different to most people on earth. But she like rocks it, and she's kind at the same time. You know, no negativity, no hatred, no jealousy, and I just think she's a really good role model for female empowerment. And also, I don't know whether over here we've had the Stephen Hawking documentary,
Mm-hmm.
and I just watched it the other day. And one of my favourite films is it The Theory of Everything? Yeah,
I think it is.
And I watched the documentary where it's his family talking about him and you know his struggles and things, and it just really made me motivated because I thought, damn, like if that guy can get through his disease and produce like groundbreaking scientific studies and books and travel the world and do all these incredible things, then you know so can I. So I mean maybe not obviously like astronomy, but I mean I'm never going to be a Nobel prize winner, but yeah, I just mean just it's very very inspiring.
Good people, sexy people. That wraps up our interview with the brilliant, the kind, and the obviously beautiful Madison Fox. Thank you for joining us this evening, Madison.
Thank you so much.
One more time, let people know where to find you.
Yeah, so you can catch me on Instagram, guys. It's Madison Fox __. Go check it out.
That's it, folks. Madison, thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. See you guys.
What if you could be a better player for the cost of one more cup of coffee a month? Get access to a growing library of lit erotica, behind-the-scenes action, and player's guides with tips on drinking, cooking, fitness, dating, sex, and life after dark. Low tier rate while offer lasts. Patreon.com. Game on with Jack. Keep it sexy and game on.